The man on the right who lives in the land of the left and offers us insight into what goes on in Boston and beyond. It's our good friend, the WRKO talk show host and the Boston Herald columnist, Howie Carr. Howie, Skyping in from New England today. What on earth do you make of this plea for a change of venue?
JD, just for starters, what's amazing is they're basing their argument on the fact that they took a public opinion poll, believe it or not. We paid, because the defendant, Zarniev, is indigent, we paid for a public opinion poll, if you can believe that.
How do you think this motion on the part of the defense will be successful?
No, Francesca, I don't think it will be successful. As Alan Dershowitz pointed out, it's a long shot at best, a real long shot. But it's also somewhat risky in that they're asking for that the trial be moved to Washington D.C. And the fact is, as Alan Dershowitz said, there's a better likelihood that a jury in Massachusetts won't go for the death penalty than in Massachusetts than in Washington D.C. Another thing that happened yesterday, one of the charges against Zarniev, who was a naturalized citizen, he was naturalized 6 months before he actually committed this atrocity, and so one of the charges is betrayal of the United States of America as a naturalized citizen. And Judge O'Toole yesterday said that was highly prejudicial and inflammatory and obnoxious for the prosecution to draw a distinction between a naturalized citizen and a native-born United States citizen, and threw out the charges of betrayal of the United States of America.
Well, curious things are going on with this, to say the least, Howie. Now you mentioned the defense team used polling. We're also hearing this same defense team is awaiting approval for funding to hire experts to analyze the news coverage of the bombings, again to, I guess, try to claim that such coverage was prejudicial?
Right. Well, that's apparently what Tim McVeigh, that's their justification, their precedent, that Tim McVeigh was able to get a change of venue to Colorado from Oklahoma after the Oklahoma City bombings because he was, quote unquote, demonized by the Oklahoma City press. But, another thing, JD, is he's also got a team of lawyers, 2 lawyers from San Diego who are just death penalty lawyers. And they fly back and forth from San Diego to Boston on our dime, trying to make sure that he doesn't get the death penalty. Even though, when he wrote in his note in the boat, when he was found wounded in the boat in Watertown, Mass, he said he was looking forward to going to paradise and getting his 72 virgins. I guess he's had a change of heart about that.
2 questions based on what we've been talking about. Well, 1 question and then 1 statement I have to make. I want to get your reaction to it. First of all, for the judge to make a distinction based on, and it's part of the narrative, it's part of his life's history, based on the bomber becoming a citizen of the United States 6 months prior to committing this act, to say that somehow that's prejudicial, maybe a Freudian slip there, prejudicial, is very curious. Is this same judge going to preside from the bench when the trial?
Yes.
So
yes,
wow.
He's originally a Mike Dukakis appointee to the state courts. I'm going to find out this afternoon, JD, who we contributed to before he was appointed to a judgeship. I have a feeling I'm going to round up a lot of the usual suspects. Mike Dukakis, Barney Frank, that group of people. He is going to be the presiding justice, though. He's going to be the one who's going to handle the case. I guess I talked to the reporter who was there, and she said the prosecutors were sort of stunned yesterday when he started attacking them for putting in this charge, for taking out this charge, betrayal of the United States. I mean, this is the Department of Justice run by Eric Holder, Mr. Political Correctness. I mean, he had to sign off on this charge, and the judge is appalled and says, "Oh no, this is obnoxious," in his words.
Well, the other point I wanted to make, Howie, and you and I have had this discussion before, to claim that they need experts to study the news coverage and how it's allegedly prejudicial. Howie, I don't think it's a thing just between the Boston Herald and the Boston Globe, but you've gone through chapter and verse of the Globe offering very charitable revisionist history and descriptions for the surviving bombing brother. What is the one description that stands out in your mind as an enhancement or a radical revision of who this guy really is?
Well, I would think of his brother, who killed at least 7 people. He was described in the Globe as a stay-at-home dad.
Wow. Stay-at-home dad, as if he's going to run a daddy daycare instead of working on terror.
As if he's making some kind of sacrifice. God knows how, if he wasn't a stay-at-home dad, God only knows how many people he would have murdered before he was finally run over by his brother.
Let's shift gears to another notorious case there in Boston. It has to do with former tight end Aaron Hernandez of the New England Patriots. His defense team questioning the legality of a search warrant for his home. They're also asking the Patriots team for medical records on Hernandez they believe could be useful in his defense. Howie, do you think the Hernandez attorneys are doing this as a prelude to perhaps pleading insanity or not guilty by reasons of insanity?
Bingo. Yes. Obviously, that's his only shot, JD. But I don't think he's got a prayer. I mean, even in Massachusetts, the insanity defense practically never works. It's just not a good defense. Plus, he's charged with killing 2 people in Suffolk County, and then charged with killing the original guy, Odin Lloyd, in Bristol County. So the Commonwealth of Massachusetts is going to have 2 bites at the apple with this guy. If they don't get him on the first one, they'll have a shot at him on the second shot. Bad word. On the second in the second county. So I don't think Aaron Hernandez is going anywhere. Maybe he looks all the O.J. Simpson 20th anniversary stories on TV and he thinks he has some kind of shot, but I don't think he does.
There seems to be some implication that all these shootings, that there's some elaborate story behind all of them. Do you have any idea about what that would be? Or I mean, I think there's an implication that there's something bigger going on behind this, or is it just simply an insane person carrying these acts out?
Francesca, I don't know of any larger plot. Apparently, he allegedly killed 2 guys in the south end of Boston, right near where the Herald used to be located, and they had just left a nightclub. And according to all the indications, at least from the prosecutor's office, what their offense is that one of these 2 guys who was killed bumped into him at this crowded nightclub, and he considered that a diss, even though the guy apologized. And so they waited for him to leave with his buddy. And this Aaron Hernandez, at the time an all-pro tight end for the Patriots, had a gun, an automatic pistol stashed in the engine block of his car that had been given to him by a fan who was a car dealer in Rhode Island. And so he just had the gun. He had brought the gun with him just in case he had some problems when he went to this nightclub. I know you do that all the time, JJ.
Oh, hey, listen. Hey, Howie, here, I to follow up on Francesca's question, the defense, it would seem to me, given the proclivity to talk about economic disparity, going to try to say that Aaron Hernandez was raised in a tough environment. He was poor, there were gangs, and that became a part of his life regardless of his later success. In other words, economic redistribution in a perverse way being used as his defense. You think that's likely?
I suppose they could do anything, JD, but the evidence here is overwhelming. I mean, again, that's why they're trying to knock out the search warrant, because they have video surveillance of him coming back into the house after the murder of Odin Lloyd, the third person he killed, with a revolver in his hand. I mean, I don't think the guy has a leg to stand on. And as you see, they're slowly flipping all of his associates who are all going to end up testifying against him. And you know, his lawyers are beginning to say too that they're running out of money too. So
And
I
we're
think,
running out of time, Howie. We appreciate your insights. We'll have you back real soon. Don't go away. There's more to come.